So dude, you were in new construction for how many years?
7.
7. And you worked for a big builder.
Yep.
One of my favorite builders locally. Well, we won't say who it was, but you got to see the ups and downs of new construction, the ins and outs of, I'm sure, like where things were done well, where things were not done as well. So I thought today would be interesting because there was a report that came out this past week that talked about new construction is now more affordable than resale for the first time in like 15 years.
Yep.
And so maybe do like a little state of the new construction world in Orlando, and then also maybe just talk about the process. That's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's been really cool to watch new construction take shape in Orlando like the last decade. I think a lot of the companies have like really figured out over the last 6 or 7 years how to do new construction well in Central Florida. When you go from just the conception of a community to the development to actually putting in the roads and then the homes, it's just a massive project. And like the community I was in, I opened up 5 phases in that community over 7 years. And so it was wild to see it from beginning to end. And as I pay attention more and more, like I just saw on the news yesterday that Warren Buffett just invested $800 million in one of the biggest publicly traded builders in America.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, when you start to see more and more people invest in the new construction process, that means it can only get better from there.
All right, so why don't we go, there's a few neighborhoods around here and we'll kind of bounce around the area, but look at incentives. I mean, if it's more affordable today than ever to buy a new construction house, it's because they're offering incentives, right?
Yep.
And we'll break that down a little bit after our first house. So incentives here, what are you currently offering?
So for the quick moving homes, you have rate incentive. So we have a $499 fixed plus 15 in closing cost. Or if they prefer, they could take $399 for the first 7 years, and then it'll be variable after that.
Whoa,
Right?
$399?
Yeah.
Right?
That's kind of wild, actually. Because who's gonna stay in? I mean, most people move in their house longer than 7 years.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, dude, so that's new construction. It's easier to see why people go new over resale if it's possible. I mean, if you can get a rate at 3.99 or 4.99, they're helping you buy it down. A lot of people don't know that you can actually do that on resale. It's just, these guys are really loud about it. Like, hey, this is what we do up front. Let's go all the way back. So if somebody wants to start new construction in 2025, what's like the first place they should start?
Well, I always ask them why. Why new construction? Because sometimes there's a backstory that you need to know before you can move forward with that. And then once I kind of gather that history, the main thing is location, price point, and then lifestyle is a huge thing that I want to know about.
How are you? So how are things going here in Sunbridge?
So right now the summer has been amazing. Right now, since it's back to school, it's slowed down for this month, but we've been doing really well.
Cool, so we're doing a video specifically about 2025 and how like new construction is different than resale. A lot of it's because of incentives. So what are you guys seeing with incentives right now?
Yes, right now we're doing amazing incentives. So we're doing 4.99% fixed for FHA and VA, and then we're also doing 5.99% fixed for conventional.
Wow, okay.
Yes, with closing costs as well. So we're really helping with all of those incentives.
This whole process can be a little bit confusing for some people. And if you're looking to get a real estate agent to help you sell or buy a house anywhere in Central Florida, whether that's new construction or resale, we want to be your real estate resource of choice. Reach out at theorlandoreal.com/YouTube to get started. How can somebody choose the right lot for them?
Yeah, so I think it comes down to how they live. So, everybody wants to see this corner with the lake view and no neighbors next to you as like the premier. This would be like a $200,000 lot. And so for the person who's like, I love the sound of nature, I love waving to my neighbors, this is perfect.
This is heaven.
And then also the home placement. Is your owner's retreat gonna be over here, so you're gonna have a big wall with no windows looking out over that, or is it gonna be flipped? And then you're gonna have your living room, you're gonna be able to see the green space, the lake. There's just a bunch of questions I would ask about how people live, what they love to see, what they love to do, and when it comes to choosing their actual home site.
Sometimes you gotta look, we talked about this earlier, like the way that their lanai faces, right? Like, do you want to back up to someone else's lanai? So when you're barbecuing, you're waving to your neighbor, or do you want to ask them, can I flip that house? And so a lot of people don't know you could do that, like garage left versus garage right.
Yep. Yeah, and it's all going to depend on the drainage and how the county has approved each one. But it just depends on each person. Like if you look at that home, you got a kitchen window, and then you got the owner's shower window that gentleman's putting in right now, and then you got a bedroom window up top, but you got no lanai on that side. So that would be a great home site next to it.
You know, Josiah, a lot of builders right now are not using block anymore. It's all wood frame. And in our comment section, that's one of the main things people have concerns over. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so it really depends on if they have an anchoring system when they're building with stick frame, because you can get almost the same wind rating and protection, you know, to meet code with a wood frame as you can with blocking. I mean, a lot of people don't realize even through the blocking, builders fill the cavities of the blocking with different materials. Some use the actual like spray foam for insulation, others just fill it with concrete and rebarb down into the foundation. And so what's cool about Westland Park is, you know, I've been in a couple of like the weekly homes, and they have this anchoring system on the exterior walls that goes up and over the trusses in the roof and comes back down into the foundation, and it secures it to the same level of security that you'll have a block wall.
What about bugs?
Bugs are kind of a non-issue no matter where you build, as long as you have the termite bait stations and you have, like a lot of these builders will have the inline pest control systems, you know, and so as long as you pay for that service, you really shouldn't have much to worry about if you keep up with it and you maintain it and things of that nature.
So we talked to David Weekley, and they told us that their build process is like 6 to 8 months, which is way less than it was in 2021.
Yep.
What do you think about people should be thinking through during that build process?
Yeah, I think a few things. You want to get a good idea of how many meetings you're going to have during the build process. You know, if you build from dirt, you're going to have the pre-construction meeting, you're going to have the pre-drywall meeting, you're going to have the home buyer introduction, and then you're going to have the final walk. So you're going to have a minimum of 4 meetings, and then throughout the dirt build, you're probably going to want to do a pre-drywall inspection, and then obviously a final inspection at the end. So just having a realtor and the sales consultant in constant communication with you, like we do on a weekly basis, making sure that all of those meetings are satisfied and everybody has the right expectations moving forward.
Does it ever go perfect?
Nope.
That's the one thing I feel like people understand, like it's new, it should be perfect. Well, no, the process isn't perfect, the house isn't perfect, which leads me to this next question of warranty. And so people get in their house 3, 6, 9 months in, and they're like, oh, this popped up. Can you talk about warranty?
Yep. So something's going to break. Homes are comprised of over 300,000 individual pieces put together by human hands. It's not a car that's put together by a machine, you know? And so when you have a ton of different trade partners working on the home, you're likely going to miss something. Something's not going to fit right, something's not going to function right. So you want to get a good understanding, number one, of the warranty process, how to submit your warranty ticket, and then make sure that everything is followed up with accordingly.
So the warranty is 1, 2, 10 for most builders. What does that 1, 2, 10 stand for?
Yeah, so usually that first year is everything against manufacturer's defects and craftsmanship. So the product itself, and then how it was installed, not including cosmetic, you know, paint and things like that. For your first 2 years, it's going to be your major mechanicals. So think about everything that's like in your slab, like your plumbing, your electrical, not your outlets, not your faucets. It's everything that's in the foundation. And then a lot of your major mechanicals with the air conditioning will be covered for 2 years. And then for 10 years is your structural. So that's all the load-bearing components, your foundation. Your roof's going to come with its own warranty. Usually it's a 30-year warranty.
And that's just for shingles. That's not even for workmanship.
Exactly. And there's a lot of ins and outs with the warranty piece that you want to make sure you get extreme clarity on, because people think, oh, it's under warranty, it's going to be free if something breaks and they're just going to come fix it. And that's just not the case. And then there's so many things that your warranty manager or the warranty service rep is going to be able to help you do, like you can extend the warranty for your air handler just by registering it.
Sure.
So if you pay attention during that warranty meeting, which usually happens 2 weeks after closing, and you have everything lined up and kind of written down, you should be fine.
You don't see pools in a lot of new construction. Well, we didn't. Now they're starting to come back where builders are willing to include them in the build process, which is kind of an interesting change.
Pools are fantastic. I always tell people, you know, the pools are coming back because the permits and things like that aren't as backed up. We saw pools pre-2020 and then everybody needed a pool in 2020. And then we were like, we can't get pools. And so now you start to see them come back. So I always tell people, you got to ask a couple questions based on like the pool incentive, the pool company, the customization, if it's going to be financed or if you have to pay for it in cash so that it's not tacked onto your loan amount, and then the builder's trying to prove that your home is worth $150,000 more than the exact same model.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a couple questions, and with the builders that let you customize, it can be really fun if you do it right. And then there's other builders that it's a glorified bathtub in the backyard.
The pool.
Yeah.
So let's talk, okay, so I know you walk into a design center and it's like Disney World and everything can be really expensive, but you don't want to buy a completely stripped out house.
Right.
So what would be your advice to somebody in terms of before they go to design, like here's some of maybe the top 2 or 3 things that they should invest in?
Yeah, so a couple things I tell my buyers, I go, listen, we're gonna look at the base price. We're gonna add $125,000 to $150,000 to that base price, and that's gonna give us sort of a target for our final price before incentives are applied. And so the average person builds about, gosh, it's probably 11 to 12% of the overall price of the home in the design. And so when we walk into a model, I go, first we have to pay attention to flex options. This is a designer kitchen with the vent hood, the built-in, so that's not how that comes. So if you like that, that's an option. You've got the mud room over there with the coat racks and things like that. You've got this side desk that is probably an upgrade with a bev. This is going to be a knee wall, so if you want an exposed railing with spindles, and especially if you want to do them two-tone, there's just a number of things. But all of that is going to be captured in that 11 to 12%. And then if you're building from dirt, if you get money towards the design center, then like I told my last people that built in this row, I was like, hey, they gave you this much, go nuts. Yeah. Because you were going to spend that anyway, so go ahead and deck it out because you'll be able to back that out of your price.
There's a lot of different builders out there, and this process kind of gets confusing, even for people that have been in real estate for a long time. Should they consider doing it on their own?
You can do anything on your own, Ken.
That's true.
I could do real estate on my own.
You could, yeah.
Do I do real estate on my own?
We do it together.
Exactly. It's like anything else in life. If you do it together, the outcome is so much better. And especially if you do it with somebody who knows the pathway forward, who can help you avoid the pitfalls and know what questions to ask so that your dream home actually becomes a reality and it's not just an anxiety fest for 9 months.
Oh, man, and some people, massive anxiety through the process. What about builders? Do they want to work with real estate agents? Will they pay our fee?
Oh yeah, like if you think back to our previous time with the agents that we talked with, they love working with agents, especially agents on the Pozek Group, and they often reach out to us to tell us all the great things that are happening.
Listen guys, we're putting out videos like this every single week about real estate, development, things to do in Orlando. So make sure you hit the subscribe before you leave, and we'll see you guys on the next video.